Holy smokes, for the fourth day in a row, the attack on Tesla and Tesla stock continues by mainstream media and news outlets. As a consequence to this, Tesla stock is currently down almost 2% today. First up, Reuters just came out with another hit piece on Tesla today. It says Tesla's EV charging team layoffs threaten to slow Biden's program to electrify highways. This comes as Elon Musk's post on X, quote, "Just to reiterate, Tesla will spend well over $500 million expanding our Supercharger network to create thousands of new chargers this year. That's just on new sites and expansions, not counting operations costs, which are much higher." I mean, it really doesn't matter what Tesla says or does. Someone out there is gunning for Tesla's demise. Not to mention literally hundreds of protesters in Germany trying to do what? I don't know. Break into Giga Berlin, apparently. Yeah, this actually is happening now. Don't be surprised if later on throughout today, tomorrow, Reuters and others pick up this as a news story also. This was first being reported, this incident in Germany, as the protesters were actually inside of Giga Berlin. That did also have a negative impact to Tesla's stock today. In all reality, Elon Musk confirms that this is fake news. He says protesters did not manage to break through the fence line. There are still 2 intact fence lines all around. Note, this is National Protest Week in Germany, so there are a lot of protests for many different reasons. And I hope those protesters realize that Tesla's Gigafactory in Germany pays the most taxes for that whole area just by having the factory there. I think it's about time Tesla finds a new area to put a factory in Europe, maybe even Turkey, let's say, and, well, just export vehicles to Europe and have better margins and hopefully less drama, because the drama in Germany is off the charts. Steel giant BP wants to buy Tesla Supercharger sites in the US. BP says, in quotes, they are aggressively looking to acquire real estate to scale our network, which has heightened focus following the recent Tesla announcement. It plans to spend $1 billion by 2030, half of it within the next 2 to 3 years, to install over 3,000 charging points across the US. A key point of the strategy, or part of the strategy, is building large-scale hubs with 12 or more chargers that it calls Giga Hubs. If there are stranded real estate partners who are looking for someone to call, they should feel free to pick up the phone and call me or look me up on LinkedIn. Sujay Sharma, Chief Executive Officer of BP Pulse America, said in an interview with Bloomberg. And the reality of the situation is, who cares who owns the chargers? Who cares who makes the chargers? It does not matter. Yeah, it's better if Tesla does, right? Tesla can be the gas station of EVs, if you will. But you just need more chargers out on the roads. You need more public charging centers. When everyone sees charging centers or charging areas, charging ports as frequently as gas stations, that's when you get mass adoption for EVs. So the quicker we get there, the better for Tesla. A federal judge on Thursday indicated a willingness to compel Elon Musk to testify again in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's investigation into his $44 billion takeover of Twitter. It wouldn't surprise me if this is also having a negative impact to Tesla stock today. Tesla owners in North America who were on software branch 2024 8.9 are now starting to receive the latest software version 2024 14.5, which means they now have access to Tesla's FSD supervised free trial. Apparently, there were a lot of Teslas that were stuck on this software version from the past and now are able to have that free trial. Hands-free trunk automatically opens the trunk when you stand behind it briefly with a phone key enabled. This now works on the Model S and X, years 2021 and newer, as well as the upgraded Model 3. Waymo is now driving about 40,000 miles per day. Tesla is doing roughly 15 million FSD miles per day and perhaps 200 million daily miles across the entire fleet. In a war that will be won by data, the company with the largest number of endpoints will win. Tesla's Model Y 7-seat interior option has been reduced in price to $1,000 from $2,000 previously in the US when configured with a paint or interior color upgrade. Tesla Australia has shared a Supercharger update. Quote, "We've heard concerns about recent changes to the Supercharger program. The Supercharger network is still core to Tesla's mission. The network will continue to be expanded. Projects currently in construction are continuing to be completed and put into operation." BYD's European boss says he expects to overtake the likes of Volkswagen, Stellantis, and Tesla itself by 2030 in Europe. Quote, "We are confident that we could be in a leading position. We are moving to the next stage to decide a huge investment in the EU." The Acura ZDX EV has received its official EPA range figures for the rear-wheel drive at 313 miles and the highest priced variant, the Type S, at $73,500 with only 278 miles of range, and deliveries will start spring of this year. In about 12 hours, Tesla's Cyber Hammer is now officially sold out. Only 800 units were built, and it was offered on Tesla's website. Tesla generated about $460,000 in revenue from selling these hammers. Tesla Korea has started charging again for the Model S and X paint. They were free from late October until last year, until recently. And you can see white is included, solid black is now just under $1,600, deep blue the same, just under $1,600, stealth gray at about $2,400, and ultra red at about $3,200. In South Korea, there were 36,803 electric vehicles registered in Korea during the January to April period of this year, and Tesla registered 21.5% of them, which is almost 8,000. The US is poised to unveil tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and other strategic sectors next week. There is news coming out today that President Biden could hit the EV sector with a 100% tariff on vehicles that get exported from China. Today, the tariff is only 25%, so that would quadruple the tariff. Even though a lot of Chinese car companies, most in fact, don't have any plans to sell cars in the US anytime soon, Li Auto's down 2%, NIO is down 3%, and other Chinese EV makers are down similar percentage points today. Tesla's head of product launches, Rich Otto, resigned from the Elon Musk-led electric vehicle maker last week, and he signed off by criticizing the sweeping layoffs that Musk announced at the $547 billion EV manufacturer just weeks ago, saying they're rocking the company and its morale. Great companies are made up of equal parts of great people and great products, and the latter are only possible when its people are thriving. Otto wrote in a farewell post on LinkedIn on Wednesday, "The job cuts and subsequent culture hit have thrown the harmony out of balance, and it's hard to see the long game. It was time for a change." 10-year Treasury yields today are up over 5 basis points, back up to 4.5%. This is due in part because of the Michigan consumer sentiment numbers that came out today, specifically your 1-year and 5-year inflation expectations. Your 5-year inflation expectations were expected to come in around 3.1%. Last month, they were 3.2%. So you were actually expecting a decline. What happened? You went up to 3.5%. So instead of declining, you went up 0.3%. That's not great. 5-year inflation expectations were expected to stay the same at 3%. They actually went up to 3.1%. At the same time, your headline Michigan consumer sentiment number came in at 67.4. The forecast was 78. Last month's number was 77.2. So this was a huge decline in consumer sentiment mixed with elevated inflation expectations. What does that spell? Stagflation. You can see Michigan consumer expectations came in at 66.5. The estimate was 77.3. So that's a huge, that's a crazy miss. Michigan current conditions came in at 68.8. The expectation was 79.5. Another crazy miss. You also had Fed Logan that said today there are uncertainties if policy is sufficiently restrictive. She also said the strong economy could be a sign of higher neutral rates. Fed Bostic also said earlier today, I still feel the U.S. Central Bank is on a track for a single interest rate cut this year, though timing is uncertain. Markets are still pricing in about 1.8 rate cuts, so hearing one cut from the Fed is a disappointment. I do think the Fed saying this today sets you up in a favorable position for next week's inflation numbers that will be coming out, because if inflation comes in lighter as we're expecting, then maybe that means more cuts are on the table. I'm personally expecting the first rate cut coming July 31st, whereas indeed today, there's actually now a 1.5% chance of a rate hike coming July 31st, whereas yesterday, there was no probability of a hike in July. And again, now there is a 2% chance of a hike coming June 12th, and yesterday there was a 0% chance of a hike. There was actually almost a 9% chance of a rate cut. Which I find this interesting because yes, 1 year, 5-year inflation expectations did go up, but look at consumer sentiment. Based on this metric here, the economy is failing in front of our eyes. These numbers should not have happened today, okay? That is saying people got sharply more concerned and pessimistic about the economy in just a one month time period. I mean, what's 3 months or 2 months going to look like down the line? After all, it seems the markets have forgotten about the labor report that we got last Friday that came in well below expectations. Based on the data that we have been seeing recently, you almost want to be on recession watch right now. But the markets do not feel that way based on what we're expecting for Fed policy. But I'll talk about this more in the next video. Option activity today in Tesla stock is exceptionally bearish. You have 52 orders totaling $17.2 million with a positive order value of 9%. This is from big money, keep that in mind, but that's pretty dang bearish. And it looks like there is quite the appetite to short Tesla stock today with cost to borrow fees sitting at about 10%. The short interest is actually rising yet again. You were already at multi-year highs. Now you're even higher than that at 3.87%. It was at 3.85%. And every, tick higher or lower is like millions of shares for Tesla, right, that are sold short. You do have about $18.5 billion currently in short positions with 107.3 million shares that are currently out on loan. Sentiment for Tesla stock today, given it's down 2%, it's not surprising. You're bearish with a sentiment number of 41. Message volume today is a little bit higher at 47. Yesterday it was at 45. And the participation ratio today is at 55, which is again a little bit higher than where it was previously. The percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average today is down about 1.4%. So 1.4% of stocks are breaking under their 50-day moving average today. Overall, 54.36% of stocks are above their 50-day moving average. CNN's Fear and Greed Index has moved into neutral territory today at 47. Yesterday, you were fearful at 44. Google Trends data for full self-driving is taking one more tick lower today, down to 25. But again, you're still trending a lot higher than you were before this free trial. That would tell me, at least, that the take rates, the interest into full self-driving is higher now than it was before. Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup continues to show a weakening for other Tesla models besides the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck is ramping up from 58 to 62, the Model Y dropping from 29 to 26, the Model 3 dropping from 25 to 22, and the Model S dropping from 12 to 11, Model X going from 9 to 8. Tesla is currently running about 4,000 different ads with Google. Global inventory numbers are pretty volatile recently for the Tesla lineup. Model Y just overnight going from 6,700 back to about 7,300. The Model 3 is staying pretty much the same at 2,600. The Model X dropped yesterday to about 2,200. Today it's back up to 2,500. Model S is back up to about 1,300 today after falling to about 1,100 yesterday. And Tesla's stock today just continues to get beaten down, sitting on support at its 20-day moving average. If you don't hold that 20-day moving average, then you're falling back to the 160 level. If you don't find support there, then you're falling back to trend, which is around 150. Small caps are definitely taking a beating today as well. Small caps are down almost 1%. The Nasdaq is up 0.10%. S&P is marginally higher on the day today. Oil is down 1.2%. That is great news for inflation, and we'll talk about that in the next video, which, trust me, you do not want to miss it. Like, if there is any video that you are waiting right at 8 p.m. tonight to watch, it's that video. I'm gonna be going over some things that you cannot literally afford to miss. In the meantime, let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.